December 19th, 2011. Possibly the worst day of my life. Definitely in the top two. We had been Christmas shopping, me and my wife, with my niece Chrissy. Um, we were actually in AC Moore in Deptford. And Tracy went into labor. So the contractions weren't really all that timeable in the beginning, so we left and we went back to my sister's house. And by the time we got to my sister's, her labor pains were excruciatingly intense. Um, so we called the OB. The OB says time them for an hour and call me back, and I'll let you know whether or not to go down to the hospital or whatever. Well, her pains were so intense that my sister was like, "Look, don't wait for the OB. You need to get to the hospital." So we called back the OB's office, let them know we're on our way to the hospital. This is not normal. It's just there's no way. The pains are too bad. So we jumped into my car. I drove 110 miles an hour, no lie, to the hospital. We get there, and I really can't go into what happened in the hospital, but they ended up taking her in for a C-section, and I wasn't allowed to go in. I had to go. I went down to my car, and I called my sister, and I was hysterical. I was absolutely beside myself. I'm, bawling my eyes out. I can't, like, you can't even imagine. And I'm telling her what's happening, and she's basically talking me down from the ledge. Well, I ended up having a nurse come out, and she was like, Mr. Mahoney, you need to come with me. And I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, but I knew something had not gone well. So she takes me to this room, and I walk into the room, and I see my son basically laying on a table with a big light shining down on him, tubes everywhere. It looked like it's one of them scenes from an alien abduction movie. It was insane. So I'm like, fuck it. I don't even. I'm gonna have to obviously edit that out, but I'm I'm just a wreck. And the doctor says to me, like, they have to take him and send him to another hospital if I want him to have any chance of living. And is that something that I want to do? And I'm like, are you nuts? Of course. Like, if you can save him, then you need to save him. But I asked him then, I'm like, well, wouldn't this other hospital be a better choice because they specialize in kids? And he's like, no, you have to send them to this hospital because they're the only one in the area that does this procedure. So I'm like, okay, well, if they're the only one that does it, then send them. So I'm like, I really need to talk to my wife, to make sure I'm thinking clearly. But they're like, you can't talk to your wife because she's lost a lot of blood. Her uterus ruptured, and they're working on her now. And like, I'm like completely done at this point. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my wife and my son all in the same night. I don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could stop cursing in this video, but it's not working really well. So they send him over to this hospital, and I'm driving over there, and I'm listening to this Christian radio station, and I end up calling into the show because I want them to pray for my son and my wife. And I explain the story of what's going on to the person on the phone, and they tell me, I'm sorry, but we can't put you through to the host of the show because they're getting ready to play biblical trivia. And I was just like, I pull over to the side of the road and I just started crying. I'm like, really? Like, even God has no interest in helping me tonight. You know what I mean? It was horrible. But basically, they got him over to this hospital, and my wife's stuck at the other hospital, and I'm over there by myself, and I'm like completely losing it, like tears, like I can't even explain. Like it was the most horrendous night of my life, um, possibly. I mean, obviously the day he died wasn't easy either. Um, but that's basically the story of the night he was born.